something in your life right now, if you're facing struggles, if you're facing giants, I want to talk about 3 ways that David defeated his giant. And the first one is he silenced the lies of the enemy. So when no one else wanted to stand up, no one else wanted to step up and fight Goliath, David was the only one. He was the only one that said, I'll do it. I'll fight him. But Saul and his men, of course, they didn't think he was qualified. They thought he was too young. You're just a shepherd boy. Like, you've never done this. You can't fight. There's no way that you're going to beat him. But what did David do? He didn't listen to those lies. Just like we know that there's so many Sauls in our own life that tell us that we can't do things, or sometimes it's even ourselves that tell us either you're too young, you're too old, you can't do that, you're not qualified, you're not smart enough to do that job. And we listen to those lies, but David didn't listen to that. Instead, he reminded Saul of the battles that he already defeated, that he killed lions, that he killed bears to protect his flock. And so when the devil tries to lie to you, you remind him of the battles that you've already defeated with God. He's already tried to take you out, but here you are. You're still standing. He can't take you out. And my second point is he believed in his weapon. So I want to read 1 Samuel 17, 38 through 40. And again, my second point is he believed in his weapon. And it says, Then Saul clothed David with his armor. He put a helmet of bronze on his head and clothed him with a coat of mail. And David strapped his sword over his armor, and he tried to go in vain, for he had not tested them. Then David said to Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not tested them. So David put them off. Then he took his staff in his hand and chose 5 smooth stones from the brook, and he put them in his shepherd's pouch. His sling was in his hand, and he approached the Philistine. And so Saul tried, as we read here, Saul tried to dress David in his armor, but it didn't fit David because it wasn't meant for David. And so the point that I want to make here is don't try to put on someone else's armor. God created you exactly as you are meant to be. You are who you're supposed to be. You are more than enough. You don't need to be anybody else. You don't need to have anyone else's life. And the battle between Goliath was never meant for Saul. It was meant for David. If Saul would have gone up against Goliath, he would have lost. If David would have gone against Goliath with Saul's armor, he would have lost. David needed to go against Goliath as David with his own armor, because he knew he already believed and had faith in what he could do, because he's already did it. He already defeated lions. He already defeated bears. So he just needed to believe in himself that he can do it. Not even just believe in himself. He needed to believe that with God, he can do it, because he already seen that it had been done. If God can do it once, he can do it again. And my third point is he talked back. So really quick, I just want to recap. 1, he silenced the lies of the enemy. 2, he believed in his weapon. And 3, he talked back. He didn't stay silent. When Goliath was throwing all of these blasphemies about God, he didn't stay silent. He wasn't like the men of Israel that were afraid of Goliath and that didn't speak up. He spoke up. He spoke back to Goliath. And I want to read 1 Samuel 17, verses 43 through 47. And can I just say, when I was doing this and I was reading this, I was like, woo, it was good. It was good. And so I'm going to read it. Again, that's 1 Samuel 17, 43 through 47. And the Philistine, as we know, this is Goliath. And the Philistine said to David, Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? And Goliath cursed David by his gods and said to David, Come to me, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and to the beasts of the field. Now this is where it gets good. Then David said to the Philistine, You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. And I will give the dead bodies of the host of the Philistines this day to the birds of the air and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly may know that the Lord saves not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hand. So I want to encourage you today that when the devil is attacking you with anxiety, with depression, maybe it's an addiction. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what your weakness is. I don't know what the devil attacks you with. But for me, he attacks me in my mind. He attacks me with fear. He attacks me with anxiety, and I've had enough of it. So when he's attacking you, I want you to tell him, if he's attacking you with fear, I want you to tell him, for God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And when he's attacking you with anxiety, you tell him that God, the God of peace, will soon crush Satan under your feet. And if he's attacking you with loneliness, you tell him, even though I walk through the valley, I will fear no evil because God is with me. And when he makes you doubt your future, you tell him, for I know the plans that the Lord has for me, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper me and not to harm me, but plans to give me hope and a future. And so tonight I want to end by encouraging you that there is a reward when you defeat your giant. 1 Samuel 17:25 says, and the king will enrich the man who kills him with great riches, and he will give him his daughter and make his father's house free in Israel. So when you defeat your giant, your finances will be changed, your marriage will be blessed, and for my fellow single people, you will be blessed with the marriage that you desire. So don't give up. Stop listening to the enemy and start fighting, because the God we serve is more powerful than the enemy could ever be. And that's all I have. Thank you.